this story, and I'm going to go back up to this story of this 10-year-old in Ohio. Apparently this story, I mean, it was very interesting how it all came about, but the 27-year-old illegal immigrant apparently raped a 10-year-old girl who traveled to Indiana for abortion. The problem with this story, and it is apparently true, is that she didn't need to travel to Indiana. The AG, Dave Yost, said that there is no way, because it was considered detrimental to her health and her build and her, she's 10 years old. There was apparently a lot of health issues associated with it. And he said, this is not a question. There's no reason why and it was 6 weeks. So there was no reason, he said, why she needed to go to Indiana, because there are exceptions in his state. And he's been talking to the press about this. So they it's really like bizarre how people tried to say that she still had to go to a different state when apparently she didn't have to go to a different state. And so this 27-year-old has been arrested, and he is apparently a Guatemalan national. He has an ICE detainer. The judge rejected the motion to remand the defendant without bail at arraignment. It's wild. Now, let me pull this up. One of the things that Yost had said was that there had not been he said not a whisper about the assault. So I'm not quite sure how the case came up to be, etc. But he said we had not heard about this case, and maybe we'll get some more answers about that. But, I mean, there was no reason why he was saying that the 10-year-old had to go to Indiana. But secondly, Dr. Caitlin Bernard, she apparently did not notify law enforcement. And you are required to notify law enforcement when in situations of a crime like this. Why would you not notify law enforcement? That's really bizarre to me. So what I would like to know, like, what happened? Everyone's sitting here focusing on this what's fabricated still is that she had to go to Indiana. There was no reason why she had to go to Indiana. But secondly, why is there no question as to why this abortion doctor did not report this? And apparently, there's some reports that she had a history of not reporting this. And that's just what I find really reprehensible. So they said that they're looking into trying to figure out why, how this case, how it developed the way it did. But also, are there other underage females that this abortion doctor has done abortions for where she hasn't reported them? And that's apparently now what people are looking into, because that's a real serious, this guy needs to be a death penalty immediately. Just immediately. So the Indiana AG now says that he's going to investigate this doctor. Todd Rokita said his office is going to investigate this abortionist because they have no record of her ever reporting this. And she is required to by law. He said, so they're double checking. He said, we're looking at her licensure, because if she, in crime, you have to report it. And they all know this. So, and this 27-year-old, Gerson Fuentes, he was arraigned, and man, I don't know how you can't have the death penalty on deck for this guy. It's unbelievable. Now, a couple of other things too. With this, because there's been so many, I was looking in the exceptions. There are all kinds of exceptions in all these different states, because states if there's a state that doesn't have any, which I have not been able to find any language in the state statutes for, and I haven't gone through everything, so I'm not going to say definitively, but I haven't seen anything where there isn't an exception in any of these states. But it does remain that if there is a state that doesn't have, like in some of these blue states, the language isn't what abortion activists want for their trigger laws. I don't know why they didn't work then to codify that at the state level. And that's that would be a failure on behalf of not just those activists, but also their Democrat lawmakers that represent their interests. If they don't like the strength of the language or whatever. But states have exceptions. We were talking about the ectopic pregnancies. We were talking about, mother's health, etc., rape and incest. And those cases, while they exist, they are so incredibly rare, but they are so often misrepresented as to a wildly disproportionate degree as a way to argue for taxpayer-funded abortion on demand. So I hope that we never learn the identity of the 10-year-old. I think that child has got enough on their plate right now. That family doesn't need it. That 10-year-old don't need it. You know exactly enough what you need to know, and that's all that needs to be known. Because I can't even imagine that family having to deal with that and that little girl's psyche having to come back from everything that she's been through. But this guy, he needs to be put down like the animal that he is. It's just sickening. Absolutely sickening.